I'm sorry, Mr. President. I cannot, in good conscience, sign this document. We'll never stop hoping for eventual reconciliation with England. But because in my own way I regard America no less than Mr. Adams, I will join the army and fight in her defense, even though I believe that fight to be hopeless. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Gentlemen of Congress, I say ye, John Dickinson.
Gentlemen, are there any objections to the declaration being approved as it now stands?
I have one, Mr. President.
John, you, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Jefferson, it just so happens that the word is unalienable, not inalienable.
I'm sorry, Mr. Adams. Inalienable is correct.
I happen to be a Harvard graduate, Mr. Jefferson.
And I attended William and Mary.
Gentlemen, please. Mr. Jefferson, will you yield to Mr. Adams' request?
No, I will not.
Very well then. I will withdraw it.
Good for you, John.
I'll talk to the printers about it later.
Of course. Very well, gentlemen. We are about to brave the storm in a skiff made of paper. Where it will end, God only knows.
That's a mighty large signature, John.
So Fat George in London can read it without his glasses. Well, gentlemen, step right up. Don't miss your chance to commit treason.
Mr. Hancock is right. This document is our passport to the gallows. But it's too late to back out now. For if we do not hang together, we shall most assuredly hang separate.
You know, hanging won't be so bad, Franklin. I mean, for me it'll be over like that, but look at Reed over there. He'll be dancing a jig long after I'm gone.
Gentlemen, you will forgive me if I don't join in the merriment, but if we're arrested now, my name is still the only one on the damn thing.
Commander, Army of the United Colonies Army of the United States. In New York, dispatch number 1209. To the Honorable Congress, John Hancock, President, and dear sir, I can now report with some certainty that the eve of battle in New York is near at hand. Toward this end, I have ordered the evacuation of Manhattan and directed our defenses to take up stronger positions on the Brooklyn Heights. At the present time, my forces consist entirely of Hazlitt's Delaware militia and Smallwood's Marylanders, a total of 5,000 troops to stand against 25,000 of the enemy. And I begin to notice that many of them are lads under 15 and old men, none of whom could truly be called soldiers. One personal note to Mr. Lewis Morris of New York. I must regretfully report that his estates have been totally destroyed, but that I have taken the liberty of transporting Mrs. Morris and 8 of the children to Connecticut in safety. The 4 older boys are now enlisted in the Continental Army. As I write these words, the enemy is plainly in sight beyond the river. How it will end, only Providence can direct, but dear God, what brave men I shall lose before this business ends. Your obedient, G. Washington.
Mistress McNair, go ring the bell.
Mr. President,
Mr. Morris?
to hell with New York. I'll sign it anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Mr. Thompson?
New Hampshire, Dr. Josiah Bartlett. Massachusetts, Mr. John Adams. Rhode Island, Mr. Stephen Hopkins. Connecticut, Mr. Roger Sherman.
Stephen, go sit down.
No, I want to remember each man's face as he signs.
Very well.
New York, Mr. Lewis Morris. New Jersey, the Reverend Jonathan Witherspoon. Pennsylvania, Dr. Benjamin Franklin. Delaware, Mr. Caesar Rodney. Maryland, Mr. Samuel Chase. Virginia, Mr. Thomas Jefferson. North Carolina, Mr. Joseph Hugh.